Now, for whatever reason, and I always tell everybody I'm not sure exactly why, but the mathematicians got together and decided that you were not allowed to have irrational numbers in the denominator. All right, so right now the square root of 6 is called a what? Irrational number. All right, so square root of 6 is an irrational number, and it is in the denominator. All right, so square root of 6 is not allowed in the denominator. So there's a simple rule to remove it. All you have to do is multiply by whatever's in the denominator. All right, you multiply the numerator by the square root of 6, and you multiply the denominator by the square root of 6. Now, the reason why you do that is because when you multiply the square root of 6 times the square root of 6, you end up with what? 6. Thank you very much for those of you guys who worked yesterday. The numerator then becomes what? It becomes, thank you, 5 radical 6. So that is called rationalizing. Why do they call it rationalizing? Because you are changing it from an irrational to a what? That's all you're doing. All right, look how simple that is. All right, so when you want to eliminate a radical from the denominator, you simply multiply the numerator and the denominator by the square root of 6. Now, can anybody tell me why you can just multiply by the square root of 6 over the square root of 6? What does actually the square root of 6 over square root of 6 equal? 1. Thank you. It equals 1. So when you multiply an equation by, or a fraction by 1, does it really change it? No, it can change its form, but it doesn't change that it is equal. It's kind of like 1/2 is equal to 2/4. All right, does anybody have any questions? Does everybody see simple, right? All right, so let's see if you're listening. So number 4, what am I going to multiply by? Yep, so you're going to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the square root of 7. And when that happens, you end up with what? No. Beautiful. 21 radical 7 over 7. And then somebody should notice I could do what?
Divide by 7.
Yeah, you can reduce the fraction to what? 3 radical 7. Anybody have any questions or concerns with that? Anybody? All right, I told you, it's very simple. All right, here we go with number 6. So what am I going to do on number 6? Multiply the top and bottom by what? By radical 6. All right, now let's see what you remember from yesterday. If I multiply the numerator by radical 6, it becomes what? Becomes what? 5 radical 6 plus 6 over what? Yes. Now the question is, can I reduce this 6 and this 6?
No.
Definitely not. Anytime two things are bounded together by addition or subtraction, you cannot reduce. If I were going to reduce, this 5 would have to be like 12. Then could I reduce? Yeah, because all 3 numbers can be divided by 6. Is everybody with me on that? Now again, it's kind of what we did yesterday, so it shouldn't be a big deal. But remember, if you're not sure about something, what is radical 6 times radical 6?
Oh, I see.
Radical 6 times the square root of 6 is what, Dalton? 6. All right, anybody else? All right, let's see about number 7. Or I'm sorry, number 8. All I'm going to do is multiply the top and bottom by radical 13. So my final answer is easy as that.
Where do you get the plus 13?
See why it's a little troubling, right? What's the square root of 13 times the square root of 13? And what's the square root of 169? There you go. Or you can just say anytime you multiply the same square root, it's that number. All right, here we go. Number 10. Multiplying the top and bottom by what? Radical 6 equals, come on now. What does that equal? What does it equal? 18. Then what? No.
18 plus 6.
What are we doing? 18. Someone, come on. Minus what?
Radical 30.
Yeah. Wow, how is that hard? Over what?
6.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys now are having trouble with now. So speak up. Somebody's got to speak up. What?
How do you get the? I know how you. Oh. Never mind.
Thank you. What?
How do you get the 18?
What is radical 6 times radical 6?
6.
Times
3.
is?
18.
Anybody else have a question on that? Anybody? All right, here we go. So what should I do first here? Yeah, now remember, at this stage, I kind of want you just saying, well, we would never even say the square root of 18. We would just say that's what?
6.
You just say that's 3 radical 2. Does everybody agree? 18 is 3 radical 2. You don't have to say 9 times 2 anymore. That's what you're thinking. And then the square root of 9 is what? 3. Is everybody good on that? Now what can I do? Reduce the fraction, right? So that equals what? 3 over radical 2. Could you probably do it in a different order? Yeah, but it's just going to take you longer time, right? So your final answer now is what? What's your final answer?
3 radical 2 over 2.
That's what I got. 3 radical 2 over 2. All right, Parker, what?
Why don't you change the 18 to 3 radical 2?
Because it's easier if I do that. What did you want me to do?
I think you multiply by 18.
Yeah, but, okay, so let's do that. So if I multiply the top and bottom by the square root of 18, it's going to be 9 square roots of 18 over 18. Do you agree? And then I can reduce that to the square root of 18 over 2. And then 3 radical 2 over 2. It's the same answer. Do you agree? Doesn't matter what order you do it. You'll ultimately get the same answer. But to me, it's just easier to simplify fractions first. It's easier to simplify fractions first. Okay, is everybody okay with that? So again, remember, you do have choices. It's just I think some are easier. All right. Smaller numbers are easier to work with, in my opinion. All right, so let's continue on. Just like this one. All right. You should just be able to look at 45 now and say that's what?
3 radical 5.
Yep. 3 radical 5. So now what?
Reduces to 2 over
2 over radical 5. And now you can just, so your final answer is,
2 radical 5.
yeah, I think that's pretty easy. Not that hard. If you know the rules for radicals. Everybody okay with that? All right, let's check out 16 now. What can I do first?
Divide by 3.
Yeah, reduce the fraction. So that becomes what? All right, now here's where people make a mistake. What am I multiplying by? Yeah, just radical 3. So my final answer is over what? 9. Any issues? All right, let's check out. Oh, okay. So that's it. Now we have extra practice. All right, so here we go. Everybody should be able to look at 18 and say, that is obviously what? Very good. Right? Everybody's just looking at that and saying, that's obviously 14, right?
Oh, because it's the square root of 1.
Square root of 7 times the square root of 7 is what? Square root of 4. 7 times 2. 14. Come on, guys. Right? Anytime you multiply the same square root, it's that number. Now, could you go 7 times 7 times 4? Yeah, that would just make it more difficult. Everybody agree? All right, so what am I doing on 20? Reducing the fraction. Very good. So what's 12 divided by 4? What's square root of 20 divided by square root of 5? Square root of 4. Everybody agree? So that final answer now is? That final answer now is? 6. Very good. It's 6. What? Can you tell me what 12 divided by 4 is? You good now? Yes, sir. What's the square root of 4? Right? Okay. Now let's see how we're doing here. What's 3 times negative 5? Okay, now please pay attention. Then it's going to be times 7 times 2, negative 210. Right? Does everybody see that? Tell me. What's 28? Very good.
Oh.
Right? And then what? Come on, guys. It's just very easy once you learn that little strategy. The 2 square roots of 7 become what? 7. Right? And then you're left with what? Square root of, which is, there you have it. Look at that now. Make sure you see it now. Yes.
The negative 15 is a 3 times negative 5.
Of course. Right? Because it's multiplication. So I'm multiplying 3 times negative 5, which makes the negative 15. All right, come on. Everybody's good, right? Let's check out 24. Somebody tell me what that is real quick. What is it? Wow, thank you. 3 radical 5. Are you having trouble with 6 minus 4, or is it 2 plus 1? Somebody tell me. 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. Yes. Some of you it is. All right, here we go. Now, yesterday I showed you a little trick with this. 28 breaks down to what? 4 times 7. Good. So the square root of 4 becomes 2 times 4 is. So everybody see how that breaks down to 8 radical 7. Is everybody okay with that? Now, what do you think is probably in the 112? Probably 7. That's what I would go with. So then that would be 7. And does that work?
16.
7 times 16. Does everybody see that? And then, of course, now we can say the square root of 16 was what?
4.
And then 4 times 6 is... Everybody okay with that? And now we're adding? Yeah, guys. 32 radical 7. Yes, ma'am. Alrighty. What goes into 242? $24 does? Well, come on. The easiest way is to say they're all even numbers, so it's got to be divisible by what? 2. Square root 2 times 121. And what's the square root of 121? So I have 11 radical 2. Now if I'm looking at 3, 6, and 3, I know it's divisible by what? 3. So this is going to be 3 times 121. So what's the square root of 121 again? 11. There's a what out in front? So that makes it negative radical. Can I do anything with that? No. That's the answer. Everybody good with that? No way to simplify. All right, here we go. Number 30, what am I going to do? Yep, multiply the top and bottom by radical 7. So my final answer is? Beautiful. Any questions? All right, let's keep going. Okay, what perfect square is in 63? 9 times 7, right? So the square root of 9 is 9 radical 7. Probably what's in 28? Yep. And then how many quarters? 25 times 7, right? Is everybody okay with that? And so after all that, 8 radical 7. Any issues? Pretty easy, right? Yeah, I agree. 34. Everybody should be able to look at that and just say that's 1, right? Because what's the square root of 6 times the square root of 6? What happens to the middle terms? And square root of 5 times square root of 5. Everybody okay with 6 minus 5 is 1? Any questions? All right, so now we're going to square 4 plus 2 radical 5. All right, so for me, it's easier just to cross that out. And then just put back. So what's 4 times 4? 16. So what do I have here? How much is that? 8 radical 5, right? What's this? Good job. And now, for whatever reason, this was tricky for kids. What's that? No.
Oh, no.
Someone else. What's 2 radical 5 times 2 radical 5? 20. Thank you very much. Everybody see that's 20? What? What's square root of 5 times square root of 5? Times 4. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. 16 plus 20. So 36 plus what? 36 plus 16 radical 5. All right. Reduce first. That's what I would do. 7 over radical 7. And then what? And now what? So everybody agree? Pretty easy, right? Not bad. All right, let's check out 40 now. Bless you. Now, in my opinion, I think we should try to simplify this. So again, 3 radical 5, open parentheses. 75, I'd want everybody to just look at that and say that's what? 25 and 3. Or we can just say it's... And 12 again was what? 4 times 3, so... Did everybody see that? Look how nice that is. I can even simplify this now. Come on. What is this? Just what? Right. Now look how much easier that is rather than distribute and then break down. So your final answer is someone. Beautiful. 3 radical 15. Anybody have any issues? Wow. All that fun in one day. Hard to believe, but we made it. All right. So we'll let the excitement continue because now we're going to just do the what? We just did the evens, right? So now we're going to do the what? Let's let the fun continue, okay? Keep right on going. All right, I can see the excitement, Miss Fredelic. All right, get the odds done. Very good.